Someone who laughs like you.
Cool. Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Bit of a different look that we're working with here today, but basically like weeks ago, and I mean like many weeks ago, I asked you all to send me questions that you had about university, starting university, moving to live on campus, any of that kind of stuff. So now I'm finally, after again many weeks, answering your questions. So I hope this is helpful for anyone who is going into university. And while I answer your questions, I'm just going to be getting ready for my afternoon classes, because I basically go to my morning classes looking like trash, and then I come back, and then I get ready for the day. So the first question is, how's the overall environment of university? It's like, honestly, actually I'm going to take off this ring while I do my hair. It's pretty chill here, which is what I really like, and it's like really like, it's kind of like the only competition is yourself kind of thing, like in terms of academics. So like there's not a lot of pressure to live up to somebody else's goals. Like it's kind of like the best you can do is your best. And that's one thing that I really like. That's kind of an environment that I've always really thrived in, especially because I have a really bad like competitive streak in me. Like if I don't think that I can meet a certain standard, I don't have to do anything just because like, oh, the person sitting next to me is doing better or something, or is doing something different. Like I can kind of like, if it works for me, then that's what matters in terms of like who it works for, which I really like. Okay, so next question, is having a roommate hard? No. In my experience, so I've heard like roommate horror stories like this year from people that I know who are just like not getting along with their roommate. Me and my roommate are literally like best friends now, and she's like one of my favorite people. So I really enjoy having my roommate. She's like super dope, and we do cool things together and go on roommate adventures and just do, you know, roomie shit. So I like it. In case you're wondering what hair gel I'm using the Eco Professional Styling Gel. This is the olive oil one, and it said that it won Best of the Best Leaders in Curl Naturally Curly 2019 award winner. So I got this one. I used their the argan oil one last time, and this one I think is a bit like, it's a very moisturizing gel, which if you have curly hair and use hair gel to style it mainly, then you know that it is not easy to find a moisturizing hair gel. And this one I feel like really does help maintain the moisture of my hair. Okay, so what look? I did bangs yesterday, so I think I'm gonna go with a headband. What do you do when you don't get into your top choice? So when you don't get into your top choice, you feel your feels. Like, don't let anyone like say that, like tell you how you should be feeling, especially if you like still get into other schools but you're like are still really sad about not getting into your top choice. That is valid, my friend. Let me get some other stuff. So I just say feel your feels. Like, make sure to send a lot of like self-affirmations, like validate yourself, and like really find confidence in whatever you like, whatever that acceptance would have meant to you. All the energy that you put into being sad, I just like shift it and like put it into being happy for where you are going. But it definitely is a sad thing. So just feel your feelings, take your time, find your confidence again, get back up on your feet, and then just get really excited for where you do end up going. And I hope you do get into your top choice, but if you don't, not the end of the world. How many times during finals week have you wanted to drop out? So I posted this like during finals week, like at the beginning, and or like in week 10 I think of my first quarter, And I did not want to drop out. I am so happy at college. Like, I don't care how many exams they make me take. So, but like, nothing could take me away from going to university. So even though finals week is not fun, they're still hard. I still don't like them as much as anyone else. I dropping out never was like, not even in a joke way. Like, I love it here too much. How do you get people to wipe the counters? Okay, if you're like a good Judy of mine, then you know that I have and sometimes still have trouble with girls in my hall who do not wipe the counters down, and it's very frustrating because it's just like, keep the counters dry. Like, it's just so gross, and they get like puddly, and then there's like water stains on the counters, and it's just like so gross. Like, just wipe. Also, my toner was the Bath & Body Works Tea Tree mattifying toner, and then now I'm using the Clean and Clear Dual Action Moisturizer, if you're interested. So let's say you end up getting some water on the counter. That's fine. Wipe it up. But then also sometimes they leave freaking oceans on the counter, my dude. Ocean. So, which is your favorite class? So, my favorite class of last quarter, I took World History W, Intro to Linguistics, Comparative Politics, and my like CHAS class. And I think my favorite one out of all of those, probably either World History or Linguistics. Linguistics was easier, but there's a lot of things that I already knew, so it kind of got boring after a while. Like, I still like the subject matter, but it's just like, when you're in a class for something that you already know, it's just not as interesting. And I definitely knew a lot of the content in World History, but it was just like taught in a different approach than I'm used to, which I really appreciate. And I thought the writing assignments were fun, and I did really well in the writing assignments. So I'd say that class was a lot more rewarding because it was content that I liked and knew, but there was still like work to be done, and the rewards from that work were satisfying. So I'd probably say that was my favorite class. Linguistics, then Comparative Politics, and then my CHAS class, because that was terrible. And then this quarter, my favorite class is French. I'm in French for this quarter. It's the best part of my day. I love it. I have 4 days a week, and the day when I don't have French, I'm genuinely sad about it. Are there any skills I should learn before going to university? Time management, budgeting, like compacting your things. Like, I take up a very small amount of this room, and this room is about the size that like was just my bedroom at home, and now it's like divided in half. So being comfortable like in small spaces, I mean, I guess that's a very college specific one. Maybe you might have a really big dorm room and that might not apply, but still you probably don't want to take everything to college. So I'd say time management, budgeting, maintaining a consistent and solid sleep schedule, and like prioritizing storage. That's about it. I mean, in terms of academic skills, you know, you probably have the right skills and at the right skill level for whatever school that you go to. That's why you got into that school. So I wouldn't be too worried. So these are just kind of like broad life, like living out of the house for the first time ones, and like going to school in a not 6-hour school day structure that I think are useful. How hard was the transformation from high school life to college life / classes? Honestly, not that hard. Part of it, I think, is because, like, you don't start college right after high school. Like, I got, like, my first internship, my first job, like, made plans on my own, like, did a whole lot, like, got money, like, got my first bank account. It's honestly, like, not that hard because there's, like, transitional milestones that come in between, like, the end of high school to the beginning of college that makes it seem just like another part of growing up. From your experience, how easy is it to switch your major? Well, again, I can only speak for my UCR experience. from what I've heard, if it's in the same college, which means like, if you're in CHAS, which is the College of Humanities and Social Science, and say your current declared major is anthropology and you want to change your major to sociology, then that's going to be a pretty easy switch, because one, it's in the same college, and two, the requirements for both of those majors are probably pretty similar. So your overall path isn't going to change that much, or like there's, maybe you haven't covered that much ground, and the classes that you've already taken can still apply to the major that you want to change to, and that's like probably the best major changing scenario. Let's say and then it gets harder, like the less related your majors are, and then I'd say the hardest thing to like experience to change your major, and this could still be really easy, but it's just probably like the hardest one, even if it is easy, is if you want to change your major, and that includes changing colleges or schools. So for example, like education and business are even separate from CHAS or CNAS, which is the College of like neuro, astronomy, science. CNAS is the science, is the STEM college. I don't know what the acronym is. So say if you want to go from CHAS to CNAS, and it wasn't like psychology, because psychology, I think you can get as a Bachelor's of Arts or a Bachelor's of Science. So unless it's something like that, but yeah, if you want to change colleges or schools, like go from like CHAS to the School of Business, or CNAS to education, or education to CNAS, like those are going to be pretty difficult, but I can't share any specifics just because like don't plan on changing my major. So are finals as bad as people make them out to be? Well, that is bright. Maybe I was a little heavy-handed. The camera's like weird, so like I don't know how it actually like looks, but that is blinding. I went in on that one, my bad. Are finals as bad as people making them out to be? They're definitely bad finals, I don't think you could say across the board all finals are easy, all finals are bad. My worst one last quarter was a 3,600 essay that I had to write. So it was due at 5 p.m. on Friday, and I started putting work in at 3 p.m. on Thursday. So I wrote from 3 p.m. on Thursday to 4:45 until like Friday, and I did sleep. So it was a lot. I basically just went to a table in my lounge, sat there, and did not move until I finished it. Like I literally woke up at like 6 a.m. I did not get my grade on the essay, but I had gone on the grade calculator, and in order for me to get an A- in the class, I needed at least an 87 on the paper, and I did in fact get an A- in the class, so I know that I at least got an 87, and for writing in 24 hours a 3,600 research paper that I was terrified to write, honestly, not mad at it. So it was hell, like absolute hell to do that. Don't recommend doing it, but it is possible. Okay, hookup culture. Haven't heard of it. All the girls in my hall are pretty chill. Like if they do, they probably go somewhere else to do it, because I don't hear it. And I was in a relationship for all of first quarter, and I just got out of it, so I'm not really in the game, per se, not really looking for the hookup scene. So that's not really something I catch wind of. Brianna's not really into hooking up. My best friend who goes here has a boyfriend, so she's not really hooking up with anyone. So I'm sure it exists. I feel like I'm just going really heavy, and I don't feel like it. Like I feel like I'm doing everything the same, but like I feel like it just went like pink, Anyways, last question. Do I miss living in the desert? If so, what do I miss? Let me tell you. Fuck the desert. No, I'm kidding. Well, I lived there my entire life. I moved into my childhood home when I was 5. I was born in the desert. I went to 1 elementary school, 1 middle school, 1 high school. Like, it was so boring to me, and it was just like the same thing over and over and over again. Like, wow, now I'm like seeing myself and I'm like, this is interesting. So yeah, I don't miss living in the desert. If I had to say there's one thing that I miss driving, but I'm not too sad giving that up because it's not the most environmentally friendly way to get around. And I miss having like all my friends like right there. Cause like living in one town, like there's definitely one thing is like you're gonna have multiple friends that you know or have known your entire life, which is like kind of cool, especially for me because I don't have any siblings. Like my friends that I've known for like almost 10 years or like over 10 years, like they're like my sisters. So I do miss having them and being able to just like, especially once I got my license, just like literally hang out with them whenever I wanted to. But now I make new friends here and like we literally live in the same place. So that's kind of dope. But no, besides having easy access to like my aunt and my cousins and my friends, honestly, I am so happy I left. So happy I moved out. It's a great hometown and like going back to visit is fun, but I could not keep living there. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was kind of helpful. I don't know if it was. What is that? It's just like, I just thought it would be cool because I'm still a first year. Like I still really don't know what I'm doing. I'd say the transition period for me was like not very long at all. Sorry, I keep covering my face and I'm like trying to remember not to. And also I just basically gave up on saying the products that I've been using. So if you're interested, maybe I'll put them on screen, put them in my bio. I don't know. Honestly, after how my makeup came out, I would not be surprised to like, we don't need to know. And that's not information we're interested in.